Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Rashi's Kaman TV. A dark cloud is hanging in the skies of our nation. There is an atmosphere of mourning. There is an atmosphere that something is not going on well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are joining this channel for the first time, please subscribe to this channel, and for our viewers, please like the video, because whatever we are going to say here is going to be very, very significant. Number one is that a number of schools in Kenya have closed down. A number of schools have advised learners not to attend school tomorrow because of Saba threat. The threat is real. This means that learning may not take place. A number of universities also have asked or have given instructions to the student that classes will be online. Others have said that literally there will be no learning until Tuesday. And others will give classes through the so-called teams. Ladies and gentlemen, this tells how serious the situation is. And the other thing that we have noted is that a number of businesses have advised their customers that they will not open tomorrow. A number of businessmen have asked their workers to remain at home. A number of businessmen are worried that tomorrow things could turn upside down. I also noted that the transport sector has not been left behind, and the transport guys, the matatu industry, is asking the government to assure them of total security, and that there will be no vandalizing, there will be no destruction, there will be no burning of their vehicles. Ladies and gentlemen, the country is on its edge. We also noted that the military is also on high alert, and the government is also planning to use the lethal green berets. When you see this kind of allied squad being deployed into our street, then you agree with me that the situation is real dangerous. It is extremely dangerous, because you see, you don't send an elite squad in town just like that, because when you see this happening, then it tells you that the government is taking this very seriously. You also know that the GSU officers are also on red alert. Ladies and gentlemen, when I look at our country, I can see that tension is extremely high because of Saba. Actually, the first time it happened, I think it was that 5 years ago, when the leaders of the second liberation, people like Raila Amolo Odinga, Matiba, and many others, Akina Jaramogi, Akina Rubia, Martin Shikuku, and Alexander Muge, there were so many, led this country in demanding for the repealing of Section 2E of our old constitution, and blood was shed, lives was lost, properties were destroyed. Ladies and gentlemen, Gachagua also actually alluded to the fact that the government was actually preparing goons, and he gave a very clear indication and specific place where they were being trained by the government. And these guys, you know what happened last time. Immediately, the demonstration reached their peak around 3 p.m. These guys were unleashed from all corners of our country, especially in Mount Kenya. Business were looted and they were left dry, and properties were destroyed, and some homes were also raided. And this one tells you that the situation can only be worse. The Gen Z, look at the Gen Z The Gen Z are actually still very, very angry. Nothing much has been done to actually talk to the Gen Zs. There has been no national debate about it. What we have seen is the government ikijitanua tu kifua kila wakati. But when you see a highly paramilitary, paratroops squad on the street, then it tells you that the situation is very, very delicate. And when you look at the mob, the youth have actually been militarized also. When you look at our Gen Zs, they're not fearing anything. And I will not be surprised to see these youth actually interacting freely with the paratroops, with the allied squad, with the green beret squad. And these guys, one thing I've noted, remember even last time, we could see some ladies even dancing in front of them. And these guys were actually smiling. But major questions emerge as far as the deployment of military is concerned. There are constitutional issues, there are constitutional concerns, because the work of maintaining law and order in the country is vested in our constitution to the policemen. The National Police Service is the one that maintains laws and order, whereas the military can only be called when, I don't know what the constitution says, maybe you can let us know when you can call the military, because as far as I'm concerned, they should deal with external threats. And I think it is even possible for Kenyans to expect extreme measures from the government. No, desperate times call for desperate measures. And I won't be surprised if curfew is actually declared in some places because of what we saw last time. And when I look at the situation, this situation of blaming politicians, it doesn't augur well for a country. This situation of actually blaming sijui Gachagua, sijui opposition, sijui what, it doesn't augur well very properly. But we should not forget that our constitution is very, very clear when it comes to the right to demonstrate. It's an inalienable right. Actually, the framers of our constitution were alive to the fact that power belongs to the people. What we are seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is people trying to take back their power from the executive. If you ask me, this looks like what is happening. Because we look at it, now, people have been singing about one term, others are now singing half term, and the situation is getting messier and messier. And the situation is getting bad every day. In fact, if you look at William Samoei Ruto of late, you realize that William Samoei Ruto is not himself. You look at him, you realize that it is not the William Samoei Ruto who we used to see in 2022, 2023. He is very different. Even his voice look like it is not the real voice of William Samoei Ruto. Even what he is saying, you see a lot of confusion here and there because of the weight of his nation, of this nation, that is actually making him have maybe sleepless nights. And I know that the security guys are burning the midnight oil. What I would ask the youth here, if you ask me, is that destruction of property should not be allowed. And the government must keep off all the goons in the street, because these are the people who are making the situation very, very bad. I also noted that the diplomatic community is also very much concerned with this Saba day, and some of them, I know they are expected to give their communique. Maybe it could be a joint communique, maybe today, because of what they saw last time. So when you look at it, you agree with me, where the country is headed actually is in the wrong direction. From all angles, the country is headed in the wrong direction. I think if the issue of the youth are not handled properly, as Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta once advised, things can only escalate. Because you see, tulikuwa na the remembrance or commemoration of the Gen Z that happened last, I think just about 2 weeks ago. And now we are headed to Sabasaba. And then from Sabasaba, if history is anything to go by, kwa sababu ukiangalia utaona kwamba wanajaribu kufuatilia yale ambayo yalikuwa pale katika ukombozi wa pili. We even had nane nane, for those of you who can remember. And then we even had kumi kumi. So if the trend is repeated, I think things can only be worse. I don't know how William Samoei Ruto is planning to handle this situation. But from the look of things, if history is anything to go by, when you look at the way he has been handling this situation, I think it was not the best way. We hope that no lives will be lost. We hope that the police will not shoot Kenyans. We hope the guns will not destroy anything. We hope that we shall have peaceful demonstrations. I know there are some areas I think the government is taking very seriously, especially a place like State House, Parliament, Judiciary, and some vital government installations. But all said and done, it looks like we are not yet out of the wood. I don't know what you think, but that is my Sunday morning edition. And have a blessed Sunday. Bye-bye.